Hello and welcome to those of you joining me from the March in March campaign. It is so lovely to have you here. So your challenge every single day in March is to walk 11,000 steps. And so what is going to happen, of course, is your body is going to start to feel quite tired and quite tight, both lower body and upper body. So every single week I will release a brand new video for you so that you can focus on finding some stretch and some flexibility in those areas. So without further ado, come onto your back, all the way down. And take a moment, my friends, first of all, just to stretch your legs out. Reach your arms overhead and interlace your hands, push your palms away, zip up your legs together and get as long as you can. So when we walk, the spine tends to compress a little bit. So we're just trying to find some length before we do anything else. So really reach palms away, reach feet away. And then take a nice side stretch. Take your feet off to the right, take your upper body to the right, and now take a hold of your left wrist, giving that left wrist a little bit of a tug. You're going to feel a nice stretch all the way down your left side body here. So reach, reach, reach. And then let's move into second side, come back to center, take feet to the left, upper body to the left, take a hold of the right wrist and stretch. So into the lovely banana bend stretch. And so you're just gently encouraging your spine into a little bit of side flexion here. So this should feel a really nice release. And then we come back to center and hug both knees into the chest. And so probably one of the first things that you're going to want to do if you've done a very big walk is just to get that feeling of curling in, just to feel that nice lengthening through the lower spine. So draw those thighs in, maybe a little bit of rock, right to left could feel nice. And then let's move into a spinal twist. So just bring the feet down to the earth for a moment and then scoot your hips to the left, and that bit's really important so that when we drop the knees to the right, your spine is in a nice alignment. So open out through that left arm, take a nice deep breath in and exhale, let it go. And so you're getting this lovely stretch through the spine, but you're also opening through the front of that left shoulder, which should feel good. And some of you might even feel it into the outer left thigh. So dropping into your twist. Nice full breaths in all of these stretches. And of course, if you have more time, you can do any of these stretches for much longer. Otherwise, when you're ready, come back to center, realign your hips to center, and then take to the other side. So hips scoot to the right, knees hug in, drop to the left, right arm extends. Lengthening your tail towards your heels. And just relaxing into each stretch. So every single stretch that we come to today, I want you to keep encouraging the body to soften. And often by giving yourself a sigh out of the mouth, it will just encourage that to happen. Let's take another inhale and exhale. To gently guide yourself back to center, and once again shift those hips back into the middle of the mat and take a moment just to rock back in. So moving into one of my favorite hip stretches, cross your left ankle over the right thigh. For now, just pause here for a moment, guiding that knee away from you, and maybe this is where you stay. So one of the main areas that walkers feel tension in is around the hips and hip flexors. So all of the hip work is particularly important. And then if you wish to take this further, lift up, maybe hold on to that right foot Maybe slip your hand behind your left calf and take this almost little cradling action of the leg. And you should feel this quite strongly all the way into your seat, your glute muscles, into the outer thigh. So little rock side to side. Those of you with more flexibility in the hips, of course, you could draw in a little closer to the torso. Maybe even interlace behind the right thigh. But no need to do that if it feels too much, you know. So just listening to your body, making sure that all of the stretches today feel good and that you can breathe well in all of them. And that's usually the guidance in terms of knowing if you've gone too far into a stretch. You know, you don't want pain, you want stretch, yes, pain, no, and you want to be able to feel that you can maintain each stretch with a steady breath. Again, being here for as long as you wish. It is one of those stretches that you just want to stay in. Otherwise, come with me, let's release. And second side. Right ankle over left thigh. Again, pause with feet down. And know that each hip is likely to be different in its flexibility. So don't expect one side to feel the same. Option again, stay here or lift up. Cradle foot, cradle shin. And again, these gentle rocks right to left just act as a gentle way to get into the stretch. So rather than just pulling your body, bam, into that, you know, long, cold stretch, keep it moving. And that's a particularly nice thing to do if you are naturally a little tight, or if you're just generally not used to stretching in this way. So a little sweep. Again, option if you prefer stillness, that's okay, as long as you feel that your body is happy to do that. And of course, that reminder to interlace behind the thigh if you need something a little deeper. Take a few more breaths, keep melting the shoulders onto the back. Yeah, so try not to hunch those shoulders up to the ears. It's a really natural thing to do, but we just have to remind them to drop down. And then gently release, hug it in, and just push your way up and transition onto all fours. So over we go, and extend your left leg out to the side. Coming onto the sole of that left foot, and just take a couple of little pushes back and forth. And of course you can pad up your right knee if you need to with cushions or a blanket. So you're just getting into inner groin, inner thigh, little push. Keep the breath nice and steady. And then let's take some of that tension out of the upper body. Come onto fingertips of the left hand, thread your right arm underneath the left, bringing shoulder and head to the floor. If you don't quite get there and you feel here, that's okay. Just bring a pillow underneath the shoulder so you feel you have something to relax into. Little twist, so getting into the thoracic spine, easing it out. And you're right on the steeple tops of that left supporting hand, driving the hand into the earth and trying to roll that top shoulder back. Let's take another inhale and exhale here to unwind, extricate yourself, and then second side. So right leg out, and then take the little rocks, ease back and forwards. Again, noticing how this side feels. Take a couple more. And then let's have a feel for thread the needle, second side. So finding stillness onto steeple tops, and then left arm sweeps through, left shoulder to floor or left shoulder to cushion. And just here for a few breaths. Let's take one more inhale and exhale to unwind and come back to all fours just for a moment. And then let's step the right foot forwards. Bring your hands onto your thighs. And again, just that modification of padding up that back knee if you are more sensitive of knee, or if you have knee injuries or issues. So coming into one that hopefully should feel really good. You're back into the hips now, but now working into the front of the hips, your hip flexor. And we'll take a couple of different versions of this. First one with the pelvis coming forwards, but try not to ditch your spine into your pelvis. Yeah, still feel as if you're lifting up and out. Take a few more breaths here. And then just changing this, and you should feel the difference. So now back off, yeah? So now I'm right over that back knee. I might need to scoot the front foot in, and then take that action of tucking your pubic bone underneath you. And that's key for this version. As soon as you get the tuck, once again, you should feel this little stretch into that left hip. And let's bring the shoulders in, take the hands back, place them onto your sacrum and squeeze your elbows back so that you get this nice opening at the same time through your chest, through your shoulders. So when we're walking, particularly when we're walking for long periods of time, you know, the body can start to curl and slump in on itself. So we're just trying to counteract some of that. And then third version, come back into the lunge, hands down. Turn your toes out to the right and start to open to the right hand side and just take a couple of circles. So part lunge, part spine opener, shoulder opener, chest opener. Again, hopefully you should feel really nice in the body. You should feel it into the outer hip as well, and front of the left thigh. And then come back to center, and then simply pull on back, peel up those toes. You're into your half splits. So those of you who are tight of hamstring, if you have yoga blocks or if you have cushions to hand, you could bring them underneath your hands so that you lift up. It's a little easier. If you don't have anything to hand, instead just bring a bend into the knee, just so you take some of that pinch out and you make it a stretch that's accessible for you. But this is a pretty strong one. You're going to feel it all into the back of the leg, particularly around the back of the knee. So breathing deeply, spine long, and know that there's no need to round the spine and try and bring forehead to knee. The intention is length here. And then let's simply switch sides. So just bring that leg back and step left foot forwards, and let's take all of that sequence again. So lunging in first of all, hands to thighs to give you a little bit of support. So now targeting the front of the right hip. Keep shoulders back, heart lifted, chest lifted, neck nice and long. Take another breath in and out. 2, bring your pelvis back, front foot back, tuck pubic bone, in goes those stretches again into the front of the right hip flexor, and then this time take arms behind you. Either take the same version. If you want something a little deeper, interlace your hands and squeeze shoulders back. Again, just opening through your front body as well as targeting your lower body. So breathing deeply, don't let the breath be restricted. Take one more inhale and exhale. To gently release the hands, you've come back into the lunge, maybe again wiggling that foot a little further forwards. So you always want to make sure, just from an alignment perspective, guys, that your knee is roughly over that ankle. So hands down, I turn toes out to the left. So you bring that right arm down. So this is more of a lizard stretch, and you just feel such a nice stretch into that outer seat. Great big circles. Forwards or backwards, doesn't matter. You could even alternate. Yeah, really open through the chest. Let's go one more. 2, come back to center, wiggle the foot back into the center line and come back into that hamstring stretch. So hips go back, toes lift. If you prefer to have toes down, that's okay, but my guidance would be up. And again, softness in the knee if you need to, hands to props if you need to. And with this action, you also get a little bit of a calf stretch in there as well, so also important for you with your walking. Take a few more breaths, try to relax into this stretch. I know it's a big one and it doesn't really feel that nice. So the hip stretches always feel nice, the hamstring stretches rarely feel nice, I find. Couple more breaths. And release. Just bring that leg back and just take a moment into child pose. Just let your lumbar spine settle post the hamstring stretch. So bottom to heels if you can. Walk hands forwards and melt forehead to the floor. Just take a couple of breaths. Deep breath in and exhale. Again, inhaling and exhale. 2, come all the way up. Transition onto your seat. Bring your feet in front of you, hip distance apart. Final little one for the shoulders. So take hands back, fingertips point to the seat and puff up the chest and squeeze those shoulders back. For those of you who want something a little deeper, you can, of course, lift up the hips. It does intensify it quite a lot. So that's only there if you really feel you need that extra edge. Otherwise, here is fine. This very gentle version of an inclined plane is what it's called in yoga. And then release and just come to any seated position. I'm going to pick kneeling, but you can be in anything at all. And then let's finish with a side stretch. So up and over to the right and other way. And come back to center and you are done. So know that if your body is craving for anything longer, you can hold all of those stretches for twice as long as we did today. You can also repeat the video and you can also tag this video to any of the other stretch videos on this page. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed, keep on stepping, and I'll see you soon.